PhD, the Zeoli show, in studio with me, and we've waited a long time to get her in studio, finally. Erin Elmore, Esquire, I should say. Counselor, how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for adding the Esquire. I certainly did earn it.
You certainly did, and I want to make sure you get all the credit. You have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You are dominating social media.
I don't do Facebook ever since the whole Zuckerberg thing, but I'm on Instagram and Twitter.
Is that because you felt he was invading your privacy?
Well, no, because my grandma's on there. My privacy's already invaded, but it was just sort of in silent protest for thinking he's a total fraudster.
He is a fraudster, right?
Yes.
And all those hearings were fraud hearings, weren't they?
Yeah, well, I forget who asked him, but they were like, Mr. Zuckerberg, would you like to tell us where you stayed last night, which hotel? And he's like, no, I don't.
Yeah, no.
It's like, oh, why? Because you don't want your privacy to be invaded?
Right.
Probably because it was the nicest, most expensive hotel in D.C., and he wants to seem like he's just one of the people wearing his ripped T-shirts, but really he's a limousine liberal like they mostly are.
Yeah, you don't think he stayed at Trump DC?
That would be amazing if he did, but no, he probably stayed at like, I don't know, whatever's there, like the most expensive Mandarin Oriental or something crazy in the suites.
I think Mark Zuckerberg stayed at Holiday Inn.
Yeah, right.
Got a good night's sleep at Holiday Inn.
There's nothing wrong with that, but
no, but for him,
he's a liberal elite. There's no friggin' way.
And you know what, Erin, too? The Congress, they just want to regulate speech. They do. They want to regulate hate speech, and this was an opportunity for them to do a little show. They can turn around and clamp down on speech, particularly speech like our speech.
Right. Well, it wasn't Diamond and Silk.
Diamond and Silk, your buddies.
They are my buddies.
I know, they're mine too. They were in studio during the campaign.
They're amazing.
So,
weren't they banned as like a terror group?
They were. They're terrorists, Diamond and Silk.
Yeah.
These two lovely sisters who are charming. They're
amazing.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
So Erin Elmore is very active in Pennsylvania politics. She was on The Apprentice.
I was on The Apprentice. I know the press.
President Donald Trump.
I've interviewed Ivanka Trump several times in Pennsylvania.
See that? There you go. I don't know what's with her, but she's supposed to come back on the show, and now that she's all big and powerful, she hasn't. But Jared still returns my emails, which is nice.
That's good.
So, but I know they're going to Israel, so.
Yeah. They're good people. I spent time with Ivanka, and she was down to earth, a good mom, just humble, kind, and just very measured.
Yeah. Measured is a great way to put it. Her kids are wonderful.
Yeah.
Her kids have played with my kids. They're wonderful people. They really are. So I don't think it's fair. Like when Stephen, I don't care about jokes, but you have a comedian who literally insinuated the president wants to have sex with his daughter. That was what's his name? John Oliver.
Oh, John Oliver.
If we said that stuff about Obama, and people lose their minds.
Oh yeah, all the time. And Obama's daughter, I forget the older one, Malia. Sasha? I don't remember.
It's
Malia and Sasha, the two kids. Right. I just don't know which is older. She was underage drinking and playing beer ping pong and smoking cigarettes. Have you seen one of Trump's kids doing that when they were young?
No.
The answer is no, you haven't. They weren't stumbling out of nightclubs. They don't have mugshots. They weren't smoking. They weren't underage drinking. You didn't see them do one single bad thing. But when the Obamas do it, it's, stop invading their privacy. They're just teenagers.
Kids will be kids.
Yeah,
and by the way, none of us said anything about that. We let them go. I don't remember anyone criticizing the kids.
No.
We had a hands-off approach. I never talked about those kids. When that story broke, I never mentioned it on the show. Their kids, not their fault. Their dad's the president.
Right.
Let them do the stuff that we did as kids.
Forget it. The Trump kids. They're not off limits.
Exactly. All right, so now, why didn't you run for lieutenant governor? I was excited. I got a text message one day. I won't say from who, but he said, Erin Elmore's going to run for lieutenant governor. I said, awesome, great. I want to have the first interview with her. What happened?
I would love to be a civil servant. I would love to help this great state of Pennsylvania. I was born here, raised here, and I've lived here all but 4 years of my life. However, I have a young son and a very busy husband, and I think the demands on my family just would have been way too much. Too much. But I think I could have won. Right? I think we could have done this.
Yeah. You have a future in elective office. You definitely do.
Oh, my.
So I know all these causes that you're in because you're everywhere and all these different charitable things, you and your husband. But no, you definitely have it if you want to do it. But would you want to do it?
I don't know. I mean, today I don't think I would be ready, but you can never say never. And as my husband says, you never say no to a job you haven't yet been offered.
It's an excellent point. Excellent point. Now, let's talk about school because your son is 4.
He just turned 5.
Just had a big birthday for him.
Oh, yes. It was great for the kids, but they're savages. 5-year-olds are savage animals. They were beating each other with toys.
It's amazing.
Oh, my, rolling around the floor.
Right? Very primal.
They're just savages. They're wild, friggin' animals.
Did you get a bounce house?
We were indoors, but I did get a man named Jungle Joe, and he came with all of these animals like frogs and birds and monkeys and porcupines and all these other things, and that kept the kids captive and quiet for an hour, which was So thank you to God. Yeah, a beautiful thing. Thanks to God for that.
As the adults were also entertaining themselves. I imagine,
the adults had a few cocktails. That's the only way to have a kid's party.
Yeah. Now I saw you were all over Fox News. You're always on Fox News. You were hanging out with Judge Napolitano.
Yes,
you were doing all these things. The school issue, the politicization of schools.
Yes, it's a huge issue, and it's something to talk about, important in our backyard. So I live in zip code 19103. And the local public school that my son would be going to next year is the Albert Greenfield School, kindergarten to 8th grade. And I was walking by, just scooting along with my day, and I see all of these signs in the door of the school. And they say things like, the NRA sucks, and the GOP stop with the BS, which BS stands for bull, SH, beep, beep.
Thank you.
There's another one that was a reference to Parks and Recreations. Leslie Knope is the character, something like Nope is dope. So we can take the politics out of it for a second. They have signs. They're allowing kids and encouraging kids to make signs that say suck, BS, and dope. Yeah, I want to send my son to school there.
Right, yeah.
Moreover, okay, so they're classless and tasteless, first of all.
Right.
You're sending a message by using expletives. But you're telling and teaching kids as young as 5-year-olds about the GOP and the NRA. Even if you hate the NRA, which, by the way, you shouldn't, because second highest NRA membership in the country is in Pennsylvania. So clearly, they're not on the right side of this. But you shouldn't have a sign against the GOP because that's a political party. And you're teaching divisive politics to children as young as 5. These children are nothing more than the political pawns of the Greenfield School.
Well said, Erin Elmore. Perfectly said. And that is so shameful. And if one of those kids said, hey, my dad loves the Second Amendment, he's a big constitutionalist, I want to put up, shall not be infringed on a poster, the school would lose their minds. They probably would call the parents in. There'd be a conference.
I really wish that one of them did, because you have to show both sides of this issue. If you want to be able to do what
they're not doing that, right?
No. But what they'll argue is that no one is asked. But I argue and encourage anyone to. I mean, the problem is the people that would do that, they're probably scared to speak up because we are called the silent majority for a reason.
Right.
So I think there's people that are scared into submission. We live in a democratic city, and they just think that they're going to be bullied and their children are going to have consequences. And that's part of the reason why I won't send my son there. There will be consequences for him. He could be bullied. I would be bullied. I already have been. People are already trying to tear into me. But what they should know is I'm not scared, I'm not backing down, and I'm not beholden to any of you. I'm beholden to my son, my husband, my friends that know me and love me forever, and the big man upstairs. And other than that, everyone can stick it where the, doesn't shine.
Good answer. But, it's a shame that we even have to have that conversation, right?
Yeah.
So did you mention to the school, did you register your complaint?
So a lawyer friend and I filed I just blanked off a right to know request. And I encourage anyone in any district, if you don't like what's going on in your school, you don't have to be a lawyer. File a right to know request. Hey, when were these signs made? What resources went into making them? Did you communicate with any outside political parties? Because the school issued a statement to Fox News when asked, and it was something like, we are within our legal rights to do this. Well, yes, you're within your legal rights to make said signs. But what into making those signs,
Right.
So that's where, and then we just received a response to the right to know, and I'm reviewing that with my lawyer, and then also we're considering further legal options. And
good for you.
I'm not backing down from this.
Good for you, because the indoctrination has to stop, and that's really what public schools are. They are indoctrination camps. And now they're indoctrinating them with bad language, too, on top of their lefty agenda.
Sure, and let's talk about taking it another step further. The high school graduation rate in Philadelphia County, I believe, is 70%. You can call me on that if I'm wrong. Whatever the percentage is, Philadelphia is 10% below the national average. 10% below the national average. So you're more worried about making political signs than teaching our kids how to make it through high school. Teach them how to read. Teach them how to do math. Teach them how to, understand science and history. But instead, you're teaching them expletives and to make political signs. And one of the responses I received was, this was about the Parkland shootings. Tell me which message there has anything to do with Parkland. They should have said, okay, we want to keep our schools safe. And there's messages that could have relayed that, and that's not what I saw in those signs. This wasn't about Parkland. And if you think it, you're hiding under the guise of that, and you're fooling nobody but yourselves.
Erin Elmore is in studio with me. She was on The Apprentice, and she's active in politics. She's a mom. She's an attorney.
Yes.
Friends with the president, friends with Ivanka, friends with Jared. What am I missing?
Friends with you. Oh, and I'm on Instagram at Erin, M as in Michael, Elmore, Elmore, and Twitter, just Erin Elmore, ErinElmore. I'm tweeting all the time. I follow all the great things that are going on these days, like Candace Owen and Kanye West, and it's a lot of fun out there in the Twitter sphere.
Kanye has really made a name for himself with all this.
It's been so good. It's been so fun to watch.
It's pretty amazing how the media loses their minds when a guy like that praises President Trump. What was it like being on The Apprentice, by the way?
So my history goes back with President Trump to well over a decade. I was on The Apprentice 3. It was book smarts versus street smarts. I lasted a very long time, and he was great to me. He was a mentor, wrote me letters of recommendation, helped me get jobs, was never classless, inappropriate, distasteful. Just was a great guy, was a great mentor, was a pleasure to be around, was funny, was clever, was smart, was witty, and was helpful. And all of his children were nice and kind, and everyone that I encountered in the process, I'm thankful for my experience.
Now, I know for a fact you could have gone to the White House if you wanted to. So why didn't you go to work in Washington?
Same answer almost as the lieutenant governor thing. First of all, working in Washington, as you know, is a grueling thing.
Yes.
But we can't pick up our lives and move to D.C., and thank God we didn't. Because look, I think Sarah Huckabee Sanders is doing an amazing job in her press secretary role, but poor Sean Spicer really got eaten alive, And I think it's a job that even Sarah Huckabee, she gets destroyed. It's like you're putting yourself in the mouth of a lion and thinking the lion's not going to eat you because those lions are hungry.
They are hungry. Yeah. What's next for you?
I don't know. What I love about this is I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I find causes to be passionate about. I'm co-host.
You're a lawyer, so I could hire you for something.
Sure, why not?
What kind of law?
Oh God, I don't practice law anymore.
You don't practice it. All right, so
but things like this, when these school issues come up, I'm going to start working with different foundations that help conservative causes.
Good.
Like I do the Goldwater Foundation. I want to do anything I can.
That says in Barry Goldwater, not the guy who stole his book title, Jeff Flake. Barry Goldwater.
Yes, correct. Sorry about that.
Same book, but same title, I should say. You said you're co-hosting something.
I just co-hosted a show out in Denver, and it's called The Daily Blast, and I'm going to probably be going on Tucker Carlson this week to be talking about some of the issues we were talking about.
Excellent. I'm so glad I got you before Tucker did.
Oh, I've been on the show before, but but you got me before you got in this time,
I got you this time before you went on Tucker this week. That's good.
But I'm just fighting I'm doing the Lord's work, right? That's what I always say.
You are doing the Lord's work. You absolutely are. And your Instagram, you got to follow your Instagram feed.
It's good.
It's great. It's amazing. I mean, it's good stuff. And
supporting our troops the other day, I ran on my way to workout class. I ran into like 30 guys from the Army, and I was like, if this isn't a photo opportunity, I don't know what is. I think I had more fun with them than they had with me. I don't know about that. But it was fun.
I'm sure it is for everybody. All right, so you're going on Tucker this week, and more Fox News, and this school issue, by the way, 19130.
19103. 19103.
That is
the Greenfield School. Write letters. Don't threaten anyone. No one deserves to be threatened.
Don't threaten.
Just, tell them that you feel that it's inappropriate and that you're going to be peaceful, but that it's not appropriate behavior.
I salute you for doing this. Will you give me an update when it's
Yes, and I encourage everyone else, whatever school district you live in, if you see these things happening, file a right to know request. It's just a letter saying, hey, I have a right to know what's going on in my school. Good.
Listen, I need you to make me a promise right here on camera. I'm going to hold you to it. When you get your show on Fox News, I'm coming on.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, done. Great.
Done and done.
Erin Elmore, thanks. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Zeoli